We're live! Hello! Welcome! Hello, everybody. Sup? Sup, Shredders? My name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SB $5 Song Reviews number 41, where today, as per usual, we're here to review your songs that you'd like me to check out on YouTube or Spotify. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. Another one of those unscheduled streams, but that's all right. We're here today to check out what you would like us to check out. Just before we get into this, a little bit of admin. Dinner, hey, if you're watching this, your Patreon video will be done today. I'm hoping to get that done today, so that should be good. I've got most of the Patreon videos done, but if you have not seen through a Patreon video and you'd like one done, please feel free to do so, ideally within the next day or two, so that I can get it done for you before the end of October. If I don't see you before Halloween, hopefully you have a spooky time. I would like to continue with live streams more often next week, as I'm hoping next week will be a little bit less busy, but we will see. At the moment, I am taking care of monarch caterpillars, and that is quite a lot. If we switch over to here, yeah, we've got fishies. So yep, regular, if you've got songs you'd like me to check out, feel free to put them in via Ko-fi. I haven't opened the queue yet. I will do so now, with the understanding that, there we go. I think, to be fair, I did get Echoes done these today as well, which is good. Okay, cool. There's nothing else I was supposed to do. Nothing here yet. That's okay. The main thing we have is that we have each other. I don't know what else to talk about. I think that my stream is sounding okay. I think that my stream is probably looking okay. I'm working with a wireless microphone for some videos at the moment. It's going averagely. Wireless microphones are a little bit more involved than an SM7B, which sounds ridiculous, considering the amount of work it took to get this guy sounding okay. With my voice and with my understanding of how that stuff worked. So, there was room for improve on all fronts. Sup, Blue Dinner Box, welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you're well. But yeah, shouldn't be anything too surprising today. We've got pins everywhere. It's a messy desk at the moment. There's so much stuff on the studio desk. Pro tip, if you spill coffee on your work desk, try to make sure that you clean it. Because if you don't, you'll think that your work desk is creaking, when in fact it's just sticky coffee in the gaps, and it sounds disgusting, and it is disgusting. It was a disgusting experience. It has been cleaned up now. Things are good. Especially extraordinarily out of context, that probably sounds really weird, but here we are. We are here today on Saturday, the 26th of October, and we're just vibing. We have music news that I like to do, that I haven't done so much recently, just so I can keep up on what's been going on. Beyonce makes her voice heard at Kamala Harris' Houston party. It's her time for America to sing a new song. Okay. Brad Paisley performs national anthem at World Series Game 1. Mine has lots of coffee stain. I assume you mean your computer desk, Blue Dinner Box. I wholeheartedly recommend, even though it's fun to have coffee, to try and avoid it, spilling it on the table. It's not good for tables. The desk makes it look small, I suppose. The long mouse pad I have is stained with coffee, and it's that's just from 4 years of coming in to do reviews and drinking stuff and everything. So I feel you on that. I commiserate. If we can, it can be good to clean when able, but I understand also that by the time the coffee is stained, there's not much point. So it's just, this is one of those things. Yeah. Brad Paisley performs national anthem at World Series Game 1. Good, genuinely, sincerely good job for Brad Paisley. Hopefully they had a good time with that. Jin of BTS hopes new single I'll Be There gives Army strength in tired and lonely times. Chappelle Rowan teases a clue for something on the way. Judgment dismisses 5 of 7 claims against Forest Hill Stadium in 2023 Homeowners Association suit. Gone but not forgotten, musicians we lost in 2024. From Liam Payne to Chris Christopherson, Toby Keith and beyond. I wasn't aware that Chris Christopherson had passed away. That is quite sad. So if you're wanting to avoid sad stuff, this may be where you decide to leave. Phil Lish, Jack Jones, Paul Diano. I don't know Paul Diano. Egidio Quadrado. Mitzi Gaynor. Is this? No, that's all right. That's just 200. And then Liam Payne, of course, which is Jackmaster, just as sad as everyone else. Ka. L Tiger. Johnny Neal. Sissy Houston. Nell Smith. Yet she seems very young. Very young. That is sad. Ken Page. Gavin Creel. Chris Christopherson. Wow, to be fair, Chris Christopherson lived till like 88. That's a good effort. 88 is a good innings. J.D. Souther. Tito Jackson. And then Tommy Cash. 84, not bad at all. Frankie Beverly, and then Will Jennings, Mark Moffat, Sergio Mendes. Damn, that's not a bad effort either. Scott Simon, Herbie Flowers, Rich Homie Kwan at 34 is also quite young. James Darren, Danielle Moore, Greg Kine, Jack Russell, Maurice Williams, Chino Excel, and then John Mayall. And there's just so many. So many. I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of musicians. I think that's worth noting. There are a lot of musicians, so of course a lot are going to pass away over the space of a year anyways. It doesn't make it a good thing, clearly, but it's part of life, unfortunately, that we all pass away. Martin Phillips, and hopefully we all get a good run beforehand. Kinky Friedman. Shifty Shellshock, Julio Folio, Angela Boffel. How long is this? Enchanting Center. Damn, 27. That's young. Mark James, Dr. Velasquez, Brother Marquis, Doug Ingle, Rich Sherman, Charlie Colin, Omar Gillis, Jan Kazmarek, John Wysocki, Jimmy James, David Sanborn. There's no scroll wheel. Oh, there is. It's just John Barbada. There's so many. No, it's not fair to scroll through the rest of them if I've already gone through half of them by name. Damn, man. Friday Dance Music Guide, the week's best new tracks, some disclosure, Jai Wolf and Aluna, Steve Angelo, and more. Blue Dinner Box says, coffee stain on mouse pad is easier to clean than stains from dirty hand. Just throw into the washing machine. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, honestly, it might even be time to give this mouse pad a bit of a wash, which is probably inherently disgusting to a lot of people. But to be fair, I didn't know that you could wash a mouse pad. But then it's made of fabric, so of course you can wash a mouse pad. That's obvious. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but thank you to you, Blue Dinner Box. I have now thought about that. So that's great. And that was it. That's it. Sarah Jessica Parker talking about Megan Thee Stallion, Ariana Grande talking about Lady Gaga. It's just people talking about other people's music. I don't know if it's necessarily newsworthy, but because of the size and the scope of these musicians and how parasocial things are, it's something people discuss. Beyonce endorses Kamala Harris. A Houston rally, yep. Garcia family pays tribute to Phil Lesh. Joe Walsh cancels Veterans Benefit concert. DJ Clark Kent. Fish's Trey Anastasio plays tribute to Phil Lesh. Oh, FKA Twigs gets new trial date after hopeless mediation with Shia LaBeouf. I think there's a meme I saw, and it's the less we know, the better, or something like that. Or we should know each other less. I feel like that's the equivocation of what we're talking about here, where it's we learn a lot about these people, and we like them as but then of course it's maybe good to know that they're if they're a monster, that they're a monster. There'll be people that had issues with the Me Too movement. That There would be, yeah, there would be. I'll finish that because otherwise it's going to sound weird. Just really quickly, it's like there'll be people that had issues with the Me Too movement, but primarily because of the fact that it might have affected the things that they received from the people that were guilty of those things. So there'll be people that maybe had an issue with it because they might not have gotten the movies or anything like that they wanted, like the stuff they enjoyed. Where it's like that's kind of lame because people deserve to be able to be safe when they make those things in the first place, and it's arguable that you could have still had the exact same thing made without the abuse that was involved. It's good. We're learning more about people, I suppose, whether we like it or not. But yeah, so they make it big and go through it, and then Phil Lesh was the Grateful Dead co-founder and bassist, right? That's the connection. 84 is a good effort. I think I probably talked about that before, but. Blue Dinner Box says, it depends on mousepad though. The glorious one I got specifically says machine washable. Sweet. That's good. I like that. I'm glad that you can wash it. Because I feel like if you got one of those RGB ones or something that lights up, that would be quite difficult to wash. You'd have a difficult time doing that. Tool announced their own festival live in the Sand with Primus, Mastodon and more. Grateful yet more of that. Kate Cassidy leaving Liam Payne alone in Argentina before his death will haunt her for the rest of her life. She feels bad. Everyone in her life is saying that it's not her fault. I mean, it's not. It's just that, but they never, even if you know it's not your fault, it doesn't take the pain away, right? Stevie Nicks defends Chappelle Rowan, saying it's good she's not going to drop dead for all you people. Stevie Nicks has praised Chappelle Rowan for setting boundaries and putting her health before the demands of her fans and touring schedule. In a rare interview for Rolling Stone, the former Fleetwood Mac artist said that she empathized with how intensive Rowan's touring schedule has been since her meteoric rise, as well as how she refused to burn herself out to please her fans. I think that's beautiful. I completely agree with that. Rowan recently shared that she'd been diagnosed with severe depression, which she attributed to a rapid rise to fame, telling The Guardian that normal activities like going to the park now require her to book security, and consider, how do I do this in a safe way where I'm not going to be stalked or harassed? Yeah. Like, it's great that she's really successful as a musician, but how does she do anything normally anymore? Will she ever be able to do anything normally? Has she just gotten so much exposure that her life will never, literally never be the same? And that's just never going to improve. It's tricky. It's really tricky. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Now Nix has defended Star. The topic of Ron came up when the interviewer remarked that Nix must have been glad Fleetwood Mac came in up in a pre-social media age and that nowadays modern pop stars can often struggle with it. Yeah, I like this. I think that's a beautiful thing. Because you have someone going, hey, I've just received some requests, by the way. Kofi has just told me that people have been putting stuff through. So apologies if I have been slow on the uptake. We will listen to those in a moment. But I think it's really fantastic when musicians who have had a bit more tenure and they're a bit more mature and they've had a bit more time in the industry can look, that they can look in and they can basically like make a plan and move forward with it. Yeah, David, absolutely. No, I see you, David. You're all good, dude. You'll get your request heard in a moment. It'll be fine. I'm just finishing this off. It's great that Nix is supporting Ron through this because I can't imagine it'd be very easy to be that successful and to know how to act. You know, you've suddenly got to learn how to be a professional, your own PR spokesperson and stuff like that. It can be really brutal. Anyway, we've got requests to do. Let's do them. Who do we have? We have 4 requests, or 3 requests, should I say, which is cool. We have got requests from David, Art Noxon, and Dinner Hay. So, David, thanks for your request. Cool. And of course, I need to go to commissions because Kofi's completely bugged and doesn't stand commissions when you reload the page anymore. So David, what have you got for us today? Hey, there we go. 3. and we have, yeah, David. Go here. And that new webcam placement is annoying, but we will cope because I've been trying to get this room sorted. And then there we go. So this is a track from Ado titled Odo, if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to listen through it now. I'll come back to this actually. Fantastic. Great use of gunshots there. That battle vibe. It's so full-bodied. It's just fantastic to have this variation within the drops. Okay, so that was Ado with the track Odo. What is this track about? What is that track about? Half-assed is a KO, leaving yourself over there. Is it basically about when they interact with another person, trying to sort of like not give it a... They're trying to give it 100%. They're inviting them to give it 100%. It's almost like they're having a battle with someone else, and they don't want the person to sort of like give it for less than 100 because they need that person to fully commit to the bit, and they're going to return at some point for another round, unless they get what they want, or maybe they do get what they want, and that's when they want to have another round. I want more time with this. I need another go with it to really sort of feel it out. Sup, Alvin? How you doing? But either way, still kind of figuring out the story. The vocals from Ado are great. They're stellar. I appreciate the clean voice, the rapping parts, the Vocaloid parts there. We could have stepped ourselves up. There's lots of different ways of interpreting the singing here, and we have some backing parts. Whoa, we kind of like have these melodies in there or harmonies on the sides that are they're a great call and response to what's going on in the mains. There's a bit of vocal fry occasionally. We're very expressive what we're saying. We're committing to the bit, and it really is giving 100% on Ado's part, and that makes sense with the lyrics to an extent. I'm happy with the melodies that we sung here. There was enough variety rhythmically, especially with the rapping elements, to keep things intriguing, and I feel like it was a really great use of the 3 minutes 28. Structurally, there was just so much going on with a lot of the hand drums, the actual drum, electronic drums, the bass parts, the keys there, some of the synths in those bass drop sections as well, with some harmonized sort of stabs or pads there. We went between these verse and choruses with occasional drops there and these builds there, and it was as much a pop track as like an electronic track, and we combined, I think, the best of both worlds there. We had a lot of filtering there as well. There we didn't just have tracks kind of static in the mix. Things spun around the stereo field, and you again, we made the most of the frequency spectrum with a chord progression that wasn't super complicated. Like there was variation within some of the bass lines, but it was more just the way the individual instruments colored things. There might have been some like sort of string parts there or melodies. It's sort of like a flamenco feel, as if we were getting ready to dance, which was, I think, authentic with some of the lyrics that were spoken there. The chord note groove on the drums kept you moving throughout. It was sort of upbeat, tight, and to the point, punchy. But there are some elements where we switched to like a halftime-ish sort of feel there with some of the rap bits there to sort of switch things up rhythmically and groove-wise, which again added further interest to it. I think it was like a song where we never wanted there to be a dull moment. The two drops were adjusted enough to sort of, even though they had similar sounds or instruments, they were sort of like buzzy and intense and aggressive. It was almost like that was the part where we were really getting into battle there. And then after that drop section was when it came up for air and realized we needed to do another round at another stage. It's a song where, again, theory-wise, musically it makes sense. There is a sense of edginess. There were some other chromatics within the scale shapes and melodies used there. It has that flavor, again, of the style of music it's including with the dance parts, and it's a nice fusion of those. And the production on it was absolutely stellar as well. It's a track where I feel we're very confident in all aspects. And we didn't come to mess around. We came to explicitly provide. I'm wondering if this is referencing something else or this is isolated. I feel like there's something I missed. Yeah, some Latin beats, some trap, some EDM. Yeah, effectively, yeah. Effectively, it makes the best of those three, David. And I think that, again, like it's a nice combination there. There was no issues with the studio production there. The leveling, EQing, etc. was great. The overall theme made sense with the dancing of it, as well as a battle with the aggressive synths. And really satisfying. So thank you to David putting this track through for my dough. I think on a first impression basis, I said what I wanted to say about it. It's neat. It's like you can't really fault Ado because she's just so meticulous in most regards. And I don't think I've ever had a bad time with any of her songs. They're just really stellar. So yeah, cheers David for that. That was Ado with their track Odo, if I'm not mistaken. Go with that. And then the next request that we have here after this one from David is from Art Noxon. And what does Art Noxon have for us today? If I haven't said it already, hopefully you're watching this having a great weekend so far. Thanks for your request. I don't know what's like for you here in New Zealand. It's a long weekend. So we have a 3-day weekend because we have Labor weekend. I think it's just a day of rest in October. I think it's something to do with getting ready between the seasons or something like that. And then we've got show weekend a few weeks from now where it's like people go to shows and just, it's kind of like getting your social stuff done right before you get into summer, and it's like the Christmas season and stuff like that. So we have a few long weekends. It's kind of nice to chill and relax. What does Art Noxon have for us today? If I Ain't Got You by Sheen Oquendo from the Philippines. Let's do it then. Let's go, Art Noxon. Let's do it.
All right. Hey everyone, this is me again, Shano Kendo. Medyo matagal ko na kayo hindi nababati, so good day sa inyo lahat. Medyo stressed kami ngayon, pero yeah, kakanta pa rin kami para sa inyo. Yeah, syempre. And I'm with Cuerdas. Bakit natin yung Cuerdas? Ayan. Yes, sir! Ayan, Cuerdas. And we will be singing If I Ain't
Okendo. Thank you, Art Noxon. I appreciate that. Okendo. Sick.
Got You.
Great start with the piano triads. Hello.
Some people live for the fortune. Some people live just for the fame. Some people live for the power. Some people live just to play the game.
We can sing well.
Some people think they're the physical things they find what's within. And I've been there before, but their lives so bored, so full of the superficial. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, and some just want everything.
Great use of vocal fry there.
Means nothing if I ain't got you.
Some people search for a fountain.
Great that the guitar's coming here too.
Promises forever young. Some people need 3 dozen roses, and that's the only way to prove you love them. Hand me the world on a silver platter, and what good would it be? No one is shared with no one who truly cares for me. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, and some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you, you, you. Some people want it all, but I don't want none at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, and some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you.
And back to the piano refrain. Nice.
If I got you, no, baby. Oh.
So nothing in this whole wide world don't mean a thing.
If I got you, no, baby. You.
Great phrasing there. Nice, really charming. So that's Sean Okendo featuring Curtis, the cover of Alicia Keys' If I Ain't Got You. I think that's really positive. It's a great first impression to their work. Having a man and a woman singing it, a story about needing each other like that. It's really, it's soulful. It's a song where I feel as if it needs to be sung in a way that's very tender, and you need to be able to show that you care about what you're singing in order for it to seem believable. I get the feeling from both vocalists that they care about it. They were really getting into the zone later on in their vocal harmonies. And for the most part, apart from like 1 or 2 points where it was just like a little bit kind of dicey, it was really good. The vast majority of what they were doing there was fantastic, and they were clearly in the zone, and they had a great chemistry. And I think that Sean, starting things off, I think, introduced the story really well, and it was nice to have the lady come in later on there. They both had solid vocal technique, very comfortable in hidden chest voices. And I think that ultimately, especially with some of those runs there, navigating each other's ranges and trying to sort of like harmonize, with both of them really having full goes of it near the end, I feel like they both got to explore really neatly. And yeah, I think it added to the experience. And I feel like it was a good tribute to the original. The track at 4 minutes 40 is well balanced there. I think that we have the piano elements, which are very important to a lot of Alicia Keys music there, and the arpeggios on the right hand with the chords on the left are effective. There are variations to that throughout. The keys did become a bit more sort of like subtle in most of the other parts after the intro, but I feel like there was a great sense of pace kept by that, which was traded over to the drummer, where the drummer kept things landing with the kind of 1 and 2 and a slow triplet feel for the rest of the piece. And especially with the guitars and bass and stuff, I think coming in the second verse, there was just this necessary brightness that I think was included at that point there, which made the track sound a whole lot more full in the frequency spectrum, as well as in the stereo field. The chord choices there were palatable. It wasn't an overly complicated harmony. There were some extensions in there, and I think that was needed to sort of necessitate to make it sound less, because it could sound cheesy if they just made it major or minor triads, but they didn't. The extensions added a sense of classiness to it. And I think, like, for the most part, the performance was extremely tight. And the guitar solo at the end on the lead there was very tasteful. We could have potentially gone for shred, but I do not think it would have been appropriate. I'm really thankful that we understood the importance of keeping things relatively minimalist, with the vocals being the focal point for the vast majority of it. And no real complaints on my end about anything involved here. I think it's a really believable performance from musicians who clearly wanted to be there, had a great chemistry, and overall the theme had a sense of glory to it. It was relatively relaxed and subdued, and when the vocal was built up with those incredible harmonies near the end, it really did it just shone. It was great to listen to. And I think that there are like 1,000,001 ways where you could screw up a cover of a track like this, and I think that they managed to avoid those. They didn't try to make it too much their own, whilst also trying to sing within their ranges of styles that suited them. Because it's very difficult to try and be Alicia Keys, you know. But yeah, no, stunning song, well written. Variations within the chord progressions of bass lines to keep the track sounding interesting throughout, and the vocals being the focal point. The studio recording, mixing, mastering, the production overall was pretty good. For a pretty good full live performance, you know, things were well leveled. You could hear stuff in the mix. There was occasional points where, like, I think because of the noise gating or something like that, amount of noise, the mic was pulled a bit far away and you couldn't hear some bits, but that's just simply because they were playing in the same room and you need to noise gate in order to separate instruments and stuff like that. So from a production perspective, I can understand why that was being done. I think overall, though, it was a classy effort. And I understand why it's got so much love and why it was, you know, why people enjoy it. So thank you to Art for putting this track forward, for this Art Knox in this track from Alicia Keys, the cover Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You, the cover by Sean Okendo featuring Quartus, the cover of that. Thank you very much. That was cool. Yeah. I was never really into Alicia Keys as a kid. But it's great that who do we have here? Yoru? Yon? Yon, not Yon. It's Yon, the 4-dimensional mausoleum. Geology, welcome. The 4-dimensional mausoleum. Geology, welcome to the live stream. And as well, I'm glad that Alvin K enjoyed it. Yeah, honestly, like I understand it's probably frustrating to not know what I'm saying. There are subtitles, but the subtitles don't always get it right. I'm trying to speak more clearly so that it makes more sense. And I'm getting better at that, but it's not perfect. And so I'll just continue to try and improve that. I think Google's gotten better at doing subtitles since I started doing these as well, which is great. And you're welcome, Art. That's all good, man. That's what we're here for. Now, this next track is from Dinner Hay. Ling Ling. Thank you, Ling Ling. I appreciate that. I will try and remember to call Ling Ling. But yeah, Ling Ling, it is a beautiful song. It really is. Dinner Hay has Factory, Hin and Rap God. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go, Dinner Hay. What do we got? Henan Rap God. Henan Rap God. From Factory. Are there subtitles? No, that's okay. Was that Ultraman?
工厂的烟雾都盖住了心，周围的村庄都被大合并。小时候喝水就不是很清，现在大换来了今天合并。搬不走的人常为了定，而我是幸运的逃离那地儿。他没有故事也没有人听，他们说孤独的人的是命。我没有来这里，我只是出生在这个地方。
Sup, and POBM. Welcome.
把家人接出来那个地方。我妈想说，他老了还会在这儿，但是他不指望我会在这儿。大概到网络上把他懂明，他只准备给我更好环境。 可是妈妈，这不是一个容易的问题。我在遵从我的灵性，那些都是我的姊妹兄弟。可是妈妈，这并不是个容易的问题。走错了并不是那些农民，对啊，那件事倒需要勇气。
That's beautiful, man. Look at that gorgeous scooter. Great painting of those drum elements. that saxophone, man. The throatiness of that tone, though. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's just what I mean by ridiculous. Because this is Hainan Rap God from an X Name Factory. I think this is someone rapping about the situation that their town went through, the industrialization, about how initially when they were younger, things were maybe beautiful, a lot more sort of traditional, and they had farmers around the place, and then industry came in, and people started, I think, prioritizing like commercialism and looking at it from more of like the pollution came in and things became a lot more complicated and things there's all this rubbish and stuff like that. And I think it was maybe about looking at their own character as they get older and who they are and trying to figure out what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. And it's just the culmination of all the things that happened when they were younger, you know, resulting into who they are now. And I think that hopefully I'm not too far off with that. It's such a brutal thing to talk about because you have someone who is being so raw with their rapping, with the way they communicate, that it's just so quiet. It's not attention grabby. It's very rare that I listen to stuff like this. A lot of the time with music, when it's rapped or like with hip hop and rap and stuff, sorry, just got an itchy nose. I know it's not cool. Ling Ling, you can, if you go through Ko-fi, you can request music through there. It's totally fine. People are more than welcome to request music via Ko-fi. It's totally fine. It's just the link. The information is in the top left. And if you go to Ko-fi, you'll be all sorted. It's just $5 for a song on YouTube or Spotify or wherever. But yeah, I just feel like the guy was so masterful with the way that they communicated, and it was just so low key. A lot of the intensity came from the music. At 4 minutes 11, you have these almost juxtapositions between the beauty of nature with the string parts and the key arpeggios and like the woodwindish kind of either synth parts or actual woodwinds, the brass kind of mourning the loss of that innocence or that beauty near the end, like a funeral dirge. And then you go into these main sections where there's like these 808s. There's really sort of like frenetic guitar parts there, which is still gorgeous, and they mirror some of what's going on harmonically with those more low-key chill sections. The drums are aggressive though, and the vocals go in pitch and in rhythm with those triplets, and that's part of why I like the vocal performance. It's just so tight with the drums and stuff like that, or the arpeggios on the guitars. But it's also just so impactful because of that rhythmic unison there, that synergy there, and I adore it. I think it's a really well-made song. I love the fact that it's such a peaceful track for the most part. Again, it's just that the sub bass is just so full, and there's these bits of crispiness, or it sounds like almost like it's burning there, almost like everyone's trying to appear peaceful at face value, but things are just self-destructing, and you can feel that anxiety that they're discussing there in the music. It's a song where, again, it sounds like the actual chord progressions, and a lot of it are quite peaceful. It's just there's the tones that make it intense. And so I think when you combine everything, it makes musical and thematic sense. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering, the production, different parts on the stereo field there, the wonderful niching and leveling of different elements within the frequency spectrum, the way that the different instruments interact and niche with each other texturally without any resonant frequencies, the dynamic range to this, the point that structurally there are just points where you can just appreciate the environment they're creating, the image they're creating with sound through the use of those tones and timbres. And it's nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression limiting was handled. I mean, effectively, it's just a really wonderful song. They absolutely smashed it out of the park. Thank you, Dinahe, for putting us forward. Really appreciate it. Really awesome song. Yeah. If the queue is open, we can put music through. It's all good. Apparently, we have 2 reviews, though. We have 2 more to do. We have one from Alvin K. Thank you, Alvin. I look forward to doing yours next. But also, we have Paul. So, sup, Paul7931. Welcome to the live stream. Hopefully, you're doing well. It's good. I'm hoping everyone is doing well, to be fair. Who do we have from Alvin? We have from Alvin... We have a track from Susumu Hirasawa, who I have heard a fair bit of at this point, and I do like listening to their track titled, let me just have a look here. Yeah, we have to go through Ko-fi.com link in video description to place a request. They're $5 USD per song. Yes, if you go through the link in the description, that information will be there. I'm more than happy to review something for you. It just has to go via Ko-fi. But yeah, should be good. But we're going to do this track for Alvin now. Thank you for waiting, Alvin. I appreciate it. Hi, Paul. So immediately into it with this track from Susumu Hirasawa. Thank you, Alvin. Let's, there we go. We're good. I love the sequence here. That arpeggio is really cool. I mean, it's just so full on, so bombastic. But people love it. guitar solo now. The drama. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And just the chanting in the background is so huge, man. I mean, that's stunning. And we went, to be fair, we went over a little bit over 5 minutes, I think. I apologize for that. But like Susumu Hirasawa, Archetype Engine, one-man band. Not sure what the track is about. Archetype Engine. What is the definition of an archetype? A very typical example of a certain person or thing. Or, so it's a machine that makes, or in Jungian theory, a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors and supposed to be present in the collective unconscious. So which of those two definitions is it? Is it the Jungian theory, the psychoanalysis one, or is it like the more sort of, either way, Archetype Engine is the one that makes archetypes? I'm assuming it would be. Let's just say it like that. I think that's kind of dope. I think the vocals from the guy are just sensational. Whether it's kind of the crowd chanting or like in the hook parts there, or the later parts of those, or it's the falsetto-ish parts and some of the entrances to the main elements, or if it's the verses were a bit down low in our range for the storytelling elements. Like either way, we explore our range really eloquently, and we also know to give the instrumental parts around us enough room to breathe. And so I think we clearly, it was like everything was equally important. And I adore that. Like, I feel like that guitar solo was equally as important to the story that was being told there. Part of that is the consistency of a lot of elements instrumentally within the mix. The drummer, for example, wherever we went, we had consistent snare drums. Da 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 da. The 16th note just is patterned the entire time with hi-hat closes and kicks there and chord note grooves. And it just keeps it so smooth in a weird way, regardless of whether you have the fuzzy textures of those synths, the sequencer pads going with different, like, again, 16th patterns with the sequencer. Those kind of arpeggiated beep things. Like, wow, kind of the alarm sound synth that we had in later parts of some of the verse and chorus elements there. the bass line, you know, reinforcing the root notes put forward by any of the guitar or key parts. The string player as well, that might have been an electric sort of like violin playing the synth patterns there, or the lead synths. There's just a lot of cool sounds within this track that make it seem sort of spacey and trippy and sort of futuristic and out of this world. And I appreciate the creativity there, as well as the acumen to understand how to put them all together in a way that is very satisfying to listen to and very effective compositionally. I think that it's a really tight performance that, again, it's just the personality within it. I feel like structurally we have enough going on with the intro theme immediately bombastic there, captivating us without any filler. There is no filler throughout this track. There is not a lot of dynamic range to it either, to be fair. There's not a lot of changes between the quiet and loud parts within this. It's really just full bore for most, if not all of it. It kind of reminds me of like a track that sort of like be like a wartime thing, like a big bomb, 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 got the big drums, doof, 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 you know. So it could, I'm not sure if it's like a military aspect for this, but either way, it's stunning. There's some echo in your mic, mostly when your voice is loud. I don't know why that is. I don't know why. Oh, hang on. Is it there now? How about now? How about now? So I've just realized that I've had I had my how do I say it? There's the wireless mics that I have, these ones. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so basically I've been using this guy. You see that? I've been trying to get him to work properly because I've been trying to do some record some like music courses, and I have to have a separate channel for that guy because he's a different microphone and you can't have the same signal chain through both. So that's why I've muted one of them now, so it should be totally okay. So I apologize if that's been an issue. Thank you for letting me know. Please let me know in future if that happens again. I really appreciate it. I will not be able to tell because I can't hear myself. You guys can hear me, but I can't. But it's fixed now anyways. Where was I going with this? And I think that the theme overall has a sense of glory to it. And beyond that, the composition, like the studio recording, mixing, and mastering, is just the icing on the cake. It's incredibly professional grade. Susumu Hirasawa is captivating as that one-man band. And yeah, got nothing but love for it. Nothing but love for the effort put in here to make it an intriguing experience for everyone involved. So thank you to Alvin for putting this track forward. It's just, I envy how incredibly creative and talented the guitar solo, just wagging his guitar around and playing sounds and textures almost like his guitar is like a machine. It's just wonderful. It's just so good. It's just so cool. Thank you, Art. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's amazing that you can get these. Like, I've got 2 of them because I wanted to sort of have more than one in case they ran out of batteries. But they even come with little floofy things if you're outside. They got little wind guards. See? They got little hats. They're good, eh? It's awesome. All right. But yeah, no, my favorite part of this track, just really quickly, was when we had the guitar sounding like a machine during the guitar solo, and how it kind of he kind of kneaded and it was going up and down and all sorts of places, and it was really dope. It was fun. It was fun to listen to. But thank you again to Alvin for that. I really appreciate that. And thank you to all of you who let me know about the mic, as well as for just yeah, hanging out on the weekend. You got any oh, there's 4. What time is it? We're okay. We got time for some more. What have you guys got on this weekend? Have you got much on? You doing any fun stuff? I have to do gardening. My weekend is not as much fun, but it's going to be productive, you know, and that's the main thing. Okay, Art Paul. So this next one is for Paul, by the way. Thank you, Paul. And by the way, Ling Ling, okay, no, you mentioned okay, no problem. You feel free to take all the time you need. There's no need to rush putting a request through. You just put a request through via Ko-fi when you feel comfortable, okay? It's all good. It's all good. People don't have to put a request through to hang out and listen to music. It's appreciated on my part because I get to listen and review music and also, yeah. But either way, it's chill. It's all good. What does Paul have for us today? We are going to find out. Paul 7931. And this is this song here. Ju Chu Huawei, The Last Aquarium. I'm excited for this. This looks kind of trippy. What do we got?
「清楚是你的票据，寄存感官和思绪。这里没有危险，不必警惕。旅途开始，门在哪里？情景里穿戴整齐。感恩你的注目礼，上次某一种语，拉丁学名，未管它百味，皆大欢喜。谁是下个房间里展出的悲戚
Great to move into swing here.
出一小片自己成为纪念品。死亡放进橱窗，怎么格外美丽？值得你合照留意。疯狂的收集癖，猥琐的失落文明，一页一页翻过，一面一面玻璃，水中倒影。你参观我，我参观你，是你扮演上帝。
Oh, a double?
不浪费，不够华丽，一个一个玩具，一天一天丢弃，破损无非。你失去我，我失去你，好凄美的寂静。
We'll bring it up.
在喝彩演出里苦涩的马戏，细看手册上印着姓名是自己，自由搁浅之后风格如此抑郁，值得请游客光临。
Huawei's vocals are adorable. Gorgeous harmonies.
不够华丽，一个一个玩具，一天一天丢弃，毫发无非。你成为我。 中和命运，我就一点好奇，并不知你旅途结束，门在哪里
？Oh, what the hell happened? So was he stuck in that aquarium? Is that the implication here? Is that he got trapped in there as part of going into it and he became... That's spooky, man. That's spooky. I don't know how to feel about that. I like the song, don't get me wrong, but that's spooky. I don't want to be trapped in an aquarium, dude. That doesn't sound like a fun time. That was Ju Chu with featuring Huawei with The Last Aquarium. I think it's about someone being trapped in an aquarium. I reckon that's that's what it's about. Like, as in, like, being trapped in a display case for the rest of their life. It's a wonderful performance from Ju Chu. They're a fantastic singer. Really comfortable in the head and chest voice. Art Noxon mentioned the old school fashion vibe here. I would agree with that. It sounds like a early, late 20th century track there from like a crooner or something like that. Very palatable, easy to listen to, very smooth. The jazzy inflections with the rest of the arrangement also come into play there. Huawei's vocals a bit later on there, harmonized effortlessly with Jude, and they were in different vocal ranges, different octaves, so they just niched effortlessly. And they didn't just do octaves or fifths or whatever. There's some edgy intervals there, but they made it work and they resolved what needed to, and it was just really easy and wonderful to listen to. Really great effort there on the mics. It was stellar performance there, great confidence. The track at 5 minutes was really well fleshed out. I think there was enough to keep you intrigued. I was initially concerned about the power or like the use of the double chorus in both halves, but I think when you added Huawei's parts later on, it gave it a bit more added context. And I think that part of why this track works so well is that it almost seemed like it was split in two. Like there were only two sets of two double choruses there. And I think, to be fair, there were slight changes with the instrumental parts, like the way they were performed in each of the halves in order to bring that resolution into the second half to make it seem a bit more sort of quaint and acceptable. Acceptable in the sense that, like, again, I'm not a massive fan of having like double choruses too early in the track. I feel like if you have a hook line, you shouldn't overdo it, which sounds ironic, but hear me out. You can have too much of a good thing, especially earlier on. Having a double later on is fine, but like a double earlier on can be a bit. But anyways, moving on. The way instruments were played, just the simplicity of the piano parts with the going between the roots and then the parts of the triad there at the start, going back and forth there, almost like we're unsure about a decision we're making, was very effective. It's not just piano throughout. I mean, there's some wonderful runs on the keys. You know, littering the track with lots of wonderful little finicky melodies there in the upper range there, twinkling and sparkling in the night sky with some extensions on the chords on the left hand. It's also the power of the bass, you know, knowing to sort of pocket, but also exploring some of the triads a bit as well with some melodies. The drums were absolutely ridiculous within this. They were awe-inspiring, man. The speed and proficiency of some of those snare and tom patterns there, with the relative ease going back into the cymbal kick and snare bits. It's just the main grooves. It was just tremendous. They absolutely smashed it on a kit. And even when they went absolutely berserk, it never seemed like too much. It was always so refined and articulate and appropriate somehow. It really was a sometimes thing in that they managed to smash it out of the park. The use of the strings to bring things up, to establish a sense of emotional depth, was also adding a glow and a really wonderful parallel shine to those redos of the choruses were just wonderful. And then you had the trumpets as well, the brass there for a bit more of a like a lounge jazzy sort of aesthetic there. It was not a happy, wonderful, uplifting song. It sounded like we were doing a dance with like a sad dance walking through a retrospective. But it's a track where, even though it's in the minor key, there is a sense of elegance and again sophistication, not just due to the fact that we had those extensions within the harmonies, not just because we had the switch to the swing there after some straight 4/4s, illustrating a phenomenal sense of awareness of the different grooves within a track. It's a song where you combine the bass and the drums, the piano and the trumpets and everything else there, and it just absolutely sparkles. It's a song which is really neat. It's a great collaboration between two wonderful singers, and the backing is up to scratch. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering is commercial grade. Dynamic range, way things were filtered and leveled and spread on the stereo field. So good. Studio, you know, like nice and low without pumping. Commercial grade. Thank you to Paul 7931 for putting this track forward. I had a genuinely wonderful time with it. Really good track. Really strong. Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love for that one. What do we have next? We have Chromino, though. What does Chromino have for us today? Thank you for your request. Chromino, what do we have, buddy? Okay, let's go. Let's do it. We have a track. Whoa, Chromino. Here we are. This is Yuka Yanagase Planetary Linear. Let's do it. Sup, Judith? Welcome to the live stream. It is at the moment. No harmonies in there? Nice. It's such a psychedelic track. Great fade out. How does it finish? Crazy. I think that this is a really cool song. I think it's a really cool song. This is Yuka Nagase, Planetary Linear. Yeah, the queue is still open in case, yeah, just I will almost always, you see this top chat thing here? If the queue is closed, it'll have a little gray bubble thing and it'll be like, the queue is closed, because I try to make sure I pin so that people know, you know? So yeah, okay. What do I think about this track? Not sure what it's about. Planetary linear. I don't know what linear means. What is linear? Linear definition. Linear is a Latin word meaning line or stripe. The planetary stripe. The planetary line. Yeah. Line or stripe. So it could be like the line of the planets or something like that. Maybe that is. Maybe the stars are aligning or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Either way, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful track. The vocals were... They were really... They'll get... I want to... How do I say this? They've got a specific vocal timbre, and I feel like the way they sing sounds very cute and innocent, and it's fresh, and it's kind of breathy, and it just niches really well with whatever's going on within the guitar, bass, drums, or like any sort of key patterns there. That I think it was mostly guitars, to be fair, but like just yeah, we had a really comfortable position within the frequency spectrum where we could just sing our lines there, go a little bit more sort of like vulnerable or fragile sometimes. We didn't necessarily get too hard with it. We were always kind of bouncy for the most part, and I think that the energy there was sufficient for what we were trying to accomplish there. I think that it was it was refreshing song to listen to, and while I don't necessarily understand what the track is about, yeah, it's good. It's well sung. The solo vocal technique. The track itself at 3 minutes 20. It's a song where it is so full. It's so full of things. There are lots of different arpeggios throughout the track. It's a song which is almost overwhelming in all the different parts it contains within these instruments. It's so full a lot of the time. So what I'm going to do is just to I'm going to go to a few different parts. Okay, so there are parts where, because this is what I'm aware of, there was a similar chord progression and bass line for a lot of this. We had variations of tails, of course, but there was a similar idea where a lot of the intensity was adjusted because of the way the instruments were presented. Like we had like keys there, subtle keys and little kind of organish things in the low end there that were resonant into other parts where the guitars were more kind of heavy bass line typically, again, filling the root notes really neatly as well. But it danced between the scale shapes as well. It explored a little bit. No, never mind. See, this is the thing. I feel like I go back to it. And this is what really humbles me as a music reviewer, is I think you get a feel for something, but then you kind of get stuck on it and you think you have it figured out, and you never truly have a song figured out, because then there's those little turns there. And I think maybe it's just that the hook is so catchy that I've got the hook stuck in my head, because it's such a great kind of loop. It's like a great loop there with the vocal melodies there, the sound of the fuzziness of those harmonies with the guitar parts there, the keys, how they kind of coexist, the bass line thumping with the drums with lots of different 8th and 16th note grooves that are really sort of like cool to listen to. And then, of course, you have a tremendous, like, extended guitar solo near the end after we got the story out in the first 2 minutes 30. And we're just shredding away. We're not shredding, like, immediately. Like, it's not like it's super fast off the bat. It does pick up later on. We explore chromatics. We aren't sort of tied down to a specific major or minor scale there. There's a little bit of kind of wiggling and ducking and diving and stuff like that there, which is really, it's really good. It sounds really... it's fragrant there. There's a bit of playfulness because of the lack of committing to a specific scale from the guitar part. Very sort of accomplished with their slides and hammer-ons and pull-offs and those little stop-starts there. And it kind of it relies on the backing harmonies, the bass, the drums being as supportive to it as the vocals, to have into the vocals throughout. So there is dynamic range. There are adjustments in the key and the chord progressions and bass lines. It's not predictable the entire time. It's just, I feel like you need multiple listens to this track, despite how accessible a lot of it is, to truly appreciate what's going on there. Again, there's a sparkle and a shine and shimmer and it's just, it's I've been talking about this a lot. I enjoyed this track. I think it was really well played. I've got nothing but love for it. The studio recording, mixing, mastering was commercial grade. It's like, I don't know how you could possibly improve it. I hope that this musician gets more love. And yeah, the vocals weren't overprocessed. They can just clearly sing. Yeah. But because I ramble. And of course, you have the background chants, which are a great sort of like foils to the main leads, in addition to the guitars near the end. There we go. I've said my piece. Thank you. Thank you to, who do we have here? Chromino. Thank you to Chromino for putting that track forward. I appreciate it. Ling Ling says, sorry, I'm still writing articles and translating in the submission area. I'm sorry. I know that must be frustrating. I appreciate you doing the best you can with it. I know it's annoying probably having to do it, but I'm sure you will get there. I'm sure that we will figure this out. It will be okay. I just appreciate people. I appreciate it. Oh, no, I made a goof. There are 4. There are 4 to go. See, this is what's going to really break my heart a little bit. My concern is that I'm going to have to close the queue soon because it's 6 now. But I want to make sure that Ling Ling gets their track through. So, yeah, subshredders. Thanks for your requests so far. Please don't submit a request beyond this point unless you're Ling Ling, because I know that it's tough getting the form filled. Thanks for everyone's. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to post this. If we could please not post a request unless you're Ling Ling, just because I want to make sure that they get theirs done. And if I close the queue now, it's probably going to cause problems. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's okay. It's not an inconvenience. It's just making sure that that gets handled, okay? But we still have requests from Art as well as Judith and Dinahay. So we've got 4 more to go. Thank you to Cromwell for the previous one. Art Noxon has a track from Korean superstar So Hyung, pronounced Soo Hyung, reminds with Gong. Thank you. Yeah, I know my pronunciation isn't always tippy top. Yeah, it's just more, it's when we've got a language barrier, it's just difficult because I will do something and then people, even if they, like, it's reasonable, sometimes people get really grumpy about it. I just want to try and avoid it. Also, because if we do it the first time, we're more likely to know how to do it the second time if we want to, and so on and so forth, you know. But this is from Art. This is Art Noxon's pick. This is Bridge Over Troubled Water from Korean superstar Soo Hyung. I am gonna probably mess that up. Good to see you again. But hang on. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Soo Hyung. Here we go. Bridge Over Troubled Water. Thank you, Art.
When you're weary, feelings warm,
This is a very special performance. They're incredible,
When
man.
you're down and out, when you're on the street, when the evening falls so hard, I will comfort you.
Got chills, man.
Take your part. When darkness comes and pain's
Oh,
take your part. When darkness comes and pain is all around, like a breeze over troubled water.
oh. Oh, shit. I'm blown away by that. I don't know how I don't know how they do that. They hit those notes. All right. So this was So Hyung with their cover of Bridge Over Troubled Waters. The song's about being that foundation for someone when everything is awful and terrible, and being that support, that warm, cozy blanket, and it's just holy, like that's what the track is about. It's really simple and easy to get behind. And it's one of the most convincing vocal performances I've heard in my entire life. They can do anything. So Hyung, they can do anything vocally. Their voice is like, as Alvin says, she knows how to use her instrument. It's flawless. the transitions, the legato phrasing, the vibrato, the dynamic range to the performance was actually otherworldly. It takes a lot for me to actually have a genuine reaction to music at this point because I've heard so much of it. I've heard a lot of incredible stuff, but this one surprised me. It shocked me. I was legitimately, I just stunned by it. I got chills immediately. Just wow. I don't even feel like I can review her vocals. They're beyond what I've heard before. Like in this genre, that's just tippy top. That's like a 10. That's one of the first times I've wanted to give a 10 to her vocals. Because there's usually something that's just kind of, but just this just pushes it over the line. And I don't feel like that would be a controversial opinion to have. Track it 5 minutes with the understanding that fundamentally, So Hyung is the focal point. You have the backing choir there, does a wonderful job of surrounding and harmonizes really neatly with everything that's going on with the harmonies. Yeah, I was so enraptured by the vocals that I just forgot about the rest of the instruments. So yes, there was a wonderful, well fleshed out string section that went louder when so did. And it was just so easy, just so beautiful. Such massive amount of weight carried by how those harmonies fluctuated with the tones of them. It's just gorgeous. The keys, subtle in comparison, bit of sophistication with the arpeggios and the melodies there. The bass coming in, reinforcing the lows. The drums, relatively subtle. You know, there were fills. It was more about the vocals, though. The drums were keeping things moving at a steady pace. Everything had great clarity within the mix. It was just... Was there brass at the end? Was there like a guitar at the end with the brass? Like this is how incredibly affecting like an out of this world but vocal performance can be. You forget all the other instruments. It's just it's mesmerizing. And like I just don't even know, man. I just don't even know. The brass was relatively subtle, reinforcing the harmonies within the strings. It's almost like everyone wanted to work together to let you know how safe you're going to be. That's the impression I got from the theme. I was really gentle. There were no harsh edges to it. The major and minor scales would adhere to. There were no weird chromatics. Absolutely one of the tightest performances I've ever heard instrumentally. Even though the vocals went away from like the rhythm, like the mains went away from the backing vocal, choir vocals occasionally. It was just so freestyling. Commercial grade studio production. Yeah, incredible. Thank you. I don't feel like I reviewed this properly, but I feel like I got a reaction, and that's what some people come to these reviews for. So thank you, Art, for putting this forward. She is a cancer survivor who now devotes her career to heal through music. Well, yeah, I feel healed. I feel like I had a transcendental experience today. And Ling Ling, I'm sorry to hear that you're having a rough time with that. Thank you for giving it a shot. I appreciate that. I'm sorry to hear that the experience couldn't be easier. Okay. Suppose in that case, after doing arts, we have 3 more to go. I can understand as a closing comment why you said, Art, earlier that they're known as the Korean Mariah Carey. I would agree with the Whitney Houston part. I think that I got Whitney Houston vibes from this, for sure. I think Mariah Carey, they're a different woman, but I can understand why people think that as well. I think it's tricky because the moment that you think crazy, wild, awesome singer, often people will just assume that flexibility with the note choices makes it like one of a few people, even though there are a lot of... No, I'm not going to go down that route. Unpinned message. What's up, Shredders? Thanks for the requests. So far, the queue is now being closed. We'll do Judith. And then songs before we finish. Yeah. Honestly, this is probably my favorite at this point, though, of the night. Like, holy crap, dude. Like, how do they do that, man? How do they do that? Oh, Ling Ling! Your one came through! It's okay, Ling Ling. Your one came through. Yay! Awesome. Yeah, let's get into this. We gotta hustle. Okay. So Judith, let's go. I've been taking my time today. Okay. And message. But we will do it properly, don't worry. So this is Judith's request. This is No Rest by Dry the River. So let's go.
I used to be a king alone, like Solomon or Rehoboam, and in these the COVID day did jealous keep my picture frames and everything did oxidate in place.
I love the sound of the brass of the vocals. They're gorgeous, man.
But then you came a single sound with astrolabe and carousel and algebra and symmetry, and none of this was lost on me, and I could see how still I'd been before.
I like the use of the brushes on the kit, man. They're kind of dope.
I don't eat, I don't sleep at all. Like limbs in procession, like so many birds, stampeding like oxen, our hearts are a herd. I loved you in the bed, I loved you in the best way possible. I loved you in the best. Did you see the light in my heart? Did you see the sweat on my brow?
So that was Dry the River with No Rest. What do I think the track is about? I think this is about meeting someone, like being alone and then meeting someone else and then realizing how much you need them in your life. And algebra and symmetry, and none of this was lost to me. I could see how I'd been before. If I don't eat, I don't sleep at all. Is it almost like... Is it almost like they fell in love when they were in bed together and it changed his perspective on everything? Like maybe they got together and they needed that sort of like physical attraction in order to sort of really feel those, like it was life changing, if that makes sense. I think that maybe I'm wrong or maybe I'm right on that, but either way, that's my interpretation of it. I think that the vocals here are great. They're palatable. There are some parts where we cry out, where we're clearly going through some anguish. There is a sense of like authenticity to the pain that we seem to feel at some parts, but also the harmonies are glorious. It's a really sort of surreal, interesting experience listening to this band there. It's sort of homely in parts and more cozy in other parts. It's a bit more sort of intense and extreme. And I think that variation there in regards to the intensity of it is really palatable. I appreciate the fact we're not keeping it the same the entire time. I think the use of the mains and sides backings were really, really clever. The track has different stages in it. Structurally, things... Oh, my thought about the lyrics is that the protagonist thought he had all the knowledge and wisdom in the world. Is it more... Okay, that's fair. So is it more that... I'm just trying to sort of like tie it together. No rest is that the knowledge and wisdom of the world. So is it that like he... That he realized how little they knew after they met that person? And how their world... Yeah, it entered his life and gave him all sorts of excitement and inspiration. That's cool. And so basically there's no rest now potentially because of the fact that they've realized how big the world is and how much there is to explore. Is that the impression of it? I think either way, it's the track starts with these strings at the beginning. And like there's this wonderful sort of head voice harmonies there, which show great vocal technique, but it's also very kind of quiet at the start. And the song builds, adding some sort of snare and drum parts, some guitar parts as you continue there, some pianos. Yeah, like some steel string guitars strummed on the sides there. It becomes a full band in that part when the person comes in. And the song grows beyond that near the end to where it sort of it climaxes and it sort of grows to a point where it almost becomes sort of overwhelming with the force of it, especially with the keys being sort of like all sort of energetic and like it's like we have more noise as more thoughts come in and more of the awareness comes in. It sort of makes our life seem a bit fuller, I suppose. So yeah, I think that basically things are very quiet at the start. They know everything, but then they know nothing. The other person comes in and the music, and then like things get better and more sort of like more intense over time. And it's the music's trying to mirror that. I think that it's great dynamically, structurally. We don't have too much of the same at any point there, so it keeps it interesting throughout. It's almost like the kind of the way that the trumpets or the brass works at the start makes it almost seem sort of nostalgic, or like it was a long time ago that person came into our life. And I think that the relative simplicity of the chord progressions and bass lines within this track make it more about following the story of the vocals. And yeah, there's no harsh edges to this. It's meant to be really gentle and positive, I think, the theme. And when we have the various sort of interpretations of the story, that kind of makes sense. And near the end. I mean, like, there's some like flat second, like some minor triads there, but nothing to the point where it becomes dissonant there. There's a bit of tension as we go into that final realization. And the guitars get heavier as well. There's a bit of distortion near the end. But yeah, that's just the general sort of dynamics building there, crescendoing across the whole of the track there. A natural sort of journey. It's the theme makes sense, even though there is a bit. Yeah, I don't want to sort of like, like ruminate. Stereo production is well handled. No complaints at all about how it's mixed and mastered. The vocals sound present, whatever we are in the mix. And yeah, I think that with the understanding, it's a very personal track for them, but it's made accessible because of the way it's played and the way the chord progressions work. And it's nice to have that story shared. I'm going to think about on that one for the rest of the day. I'm still undecided on No Rest by Dry the River. I don't really even talk about whether I necessarily like or love these songs. I think it's a really well-made song. I didn't necessarily connect to it, but I appreciate the musicality of it. I think the instrumental performance and vocals work well together, and I've got no complaints about any of the fundamentals adhered to. So thank you to Judith for putting this track forward. This is from Dry the River, titled No Rest. That was cool. What else do we have next? Of course, we're back to commissions. Because whenever I refresh the page, it does not do what I want it to do. Oh, the next one's from Dinahay. Thank you, Dinahay. I appreciate that. So this is at Dinahay. Thanks for your request. What does Dinahay have for us today? I know I've probably been waiting a while. We have 31. Yeah, that's a while ago. I'm sorry, man. She had a habit of meeting all the artists backstage. Jonah Wang. Let's go, man. Let's do it. All right. Let's go. Let's do it. So we got this here. That was so creepy. Oof. Oh, I don't know if I like that. That was wild. So that was Joanna Wang. She had a habit of meeting all the artists backstage. So I think it's basically about talking about someone who it's about someone who because I want to tie it to the video, but then the video and the song could be just something completely different. If we just take it from like a literal storytelling perspective, it's about someone who is, like they're it's a story of a ghost at school and someone who tried to be up to date with pop culture and everything like that. And basically, Blue into the Box, absolutely. It's about celebrity stalkers and stuff like that. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it more from the perspective of the actual music video where like they thought the ghost wasn't real and then the ghost kind of turned them all into like ghosts or something along those lines. And she got to put them inside the painting with her. Like she captured them one at a time. And there was a scary ghost, like a horror film inside a music video. It's great though. It's really clever. I think that the story is really endearing. There's a bit of a sense of humor to it, talking about like the movie and the pop culture and stuff like that. It's very endearing. Joanna Wang is very clever and is a great storyteller, and she doesn't miss. The vocals are really well handled here. They're in that higher range there where they don't clash with anything. There's no harshness there. It's just very easy to hear her. Great presence the entire time. And we have several different key melodies that effortlessly kind of like they fill the track, and structurally the transfers between them are very satisfying. And it's almost like an old school kind of aesthetic there, almost like a choirish kind of thing there, where you have like the old rock and roll kind of 50s aesthetic to the instrumentalists and their suits and stuff like that, like with the old-timey painting in that video there. It works because of the fact that you aren't left with like the key, the synths, the guitars, the bass, the drums, they all come in at once and they soak in the mix. And there's like very little time before you get everything at once. And then it's from A to B. It's just balls to the wall. And part of the audiovisual experience is watching the music video and the journey that they go on throughout. Part of it is also like the way that Joanna Wang is a main vocal lead. Sometimes she sort of talks, other times it's sort of there's occasional kind of bits of weirdness with the way that the time signatures work and how we simply kind of break one or in the beat earlier, something like that, which kind of starts it a little bit to make it seem a little more sort of chaotic, without making any sort of edginess apparent within the various chord progressions or melodies or anything like that. It's a song where I think it's really well performed. The jingle jangly of the guitar parts, the arpeggios there add a sense of grooviness to it. The drums as well, consistent pace there. Bass line at the bottom, working with the root notes really delicately. And the synths as well kind of add a bit of spooky, ethereal element to it, which I think is welcome considering the subject matter. The theme itself is meant to sort of juxtapose with the seriousness or the spookiness of the video itself, but also it's just more kind of, it's meant to sound kind of zany, almost like a parody again of that celebrity stalker title there, where in the song they're stalking a celebrity, and in the other one they're stalking the band. And I think that it works well for both. It's a clever decision to do things like this. And it also makes it seem a little bit, it seems fun. And, the theme over, yeah, exactly. The theme overall, I think it harkens back to an earlier time, almost like the Beatles Mania-esque kind of stuff there, where a lot of the celebrity stalking began. And yeah, no filler. The nice and short 2.5 minutes there. No room to kind of add things that aren't necessarily going to improve the experience. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering is commercial grade, without a note out of place. Effectively, it's really well handled there. And the dog is hella freaky, man. I do not like that. I do not like that. Do you like my outfit? That's what she did after school. Yeah, it's just a short little concept that's well explored. And I think that's what a few of Jono's albums are like, and I think it's incredibly effective. But thank you to Dinnerhay for that. I appreciate that. It was good to listen to it. It's very sort of self-contained. We have 2 more. We have 1 more from Judith, and then we have Ling Ling's one. Let's go. What does Judith have for us today? Ah, Eason Chan. Nice. And we'll go here, okay, and then Eason Chan, and then Judith here, and boom. Nope, it's that one, 1874, and of course it's going to do that. Let's go.
是已然逝去，懷疑在某一個國度裏的某一年，還未帶我到世上那天，存在過一位等我愛的某人，夜夜為我失眠，從來未相識已不在。這個人極其實在，卻像個虛構角色。莫非今生原定陪我愛，卻去了錯誤時代。情人若寂寥地出生在1874，剛剛早100年一個世紀。
Interesting transfer to accordion swing.
雨季會降臨赤地，為何未及時地出生在1874？邂逅你，看守你，一起老死，互不相識，身處在同年代中，仍可同生共死。 在，這個人極其實在，卻像個虛構角色。莫非今生原定陪我來，卻去了錯誤時代。情人若寂寥地出生在1874，剛剛早100年一個世紀。是否終身都這樣頑強地等，雨季會降臨赤地？為何未及時地出生在1874？邂逅你看守你一起老死，若果不可相約在和平地方。
Is that a tambourine?
與你暢遊戰地，為何未及時地出生在1874？挽着你的手臂，徹夜逃避，漫天烽火失散在同年代中，仍可同生共死。
Okay, so that was 1874 by Eason Chan. According to Judith, 1874 is a difficult piece because it can easily be sung in a melancholy way. I mean, like, it seems like it's in a minor key. Just having a quick look through the lyrics kindly provided by Judith here. Yeah. I mean, like, I know that, like, how do I say this? There is a tambourine sound. It's just not something I'm used to hearing with accordions and in this sort of setting. It's just an interesting combination of elements to me. If we are separated by gunfire, we can still live and die together in the same era. So, like, my understanding of this, just from what reading it, is that we're almost like wishing that this woman and I, or this person and I, were born in a similar time, that they weren't able to come together because of the war, and that either the war separated them, or, you know, if my lover born lonely in 1874, a century earlier than she was supposed to, would she wait for me? Oh, no. So she was. So they were on the same time, but they're looking if they were born a century earlier. Would they wait for me? Wait until rain season to come? Why did you not? So is it about wondering if they'd be together, if they would be allowed to grow old together, etc.? Is that? I mean, like, the romantic. The first of all, the vocal performance from Eason Chan here is great. I feel like it was sung in a way which sounded sad. We sounded like we were mourning the opportunity to grow up with this person. And that it makes sense. It makes sense to consider that and to not be particularly happy with that. To have a longing for that person is very final. And we had some really compelling vocal melodies that went alongside a lot of the piano, accordion, bass, and drum movements here, with the tambourine occasional. And I just think that the note choices we made here, it's more like Psychosis. The protagonist believes there's a woman who is destined to love him, but she was born 100 years ago. See, that's Occam's razor right there. I'm trying to apply Occam's razor to figure out what the track is about and the most simple explanation for it. Having psychosis and a woman born 100 years ago, I like that it's different. A perfect match that may or may not exist. So basically, we're looking into the past to see if there's a person that could be who we need. Fair. I mean, I think that's a really interesting sort of topic to explore then. I mean, I think that's really interesting. It's definitely creative, and I appreciate that lyrically. Eason sung it well. I mean, again, the accordion is just very French, so Parisian life on like the tiles. You know, you can imagine like the sway of things dancing with each other, etc. I think that it sounded beautiful. It was great to have a specific accordion solo in the middle of this track as well that was extended, sort of illustrating that Eason is more comfortable with not being the focal point. Like, they can sort of step away from the mic and allow someone else to come in. Maybe it's the romance of itself, the fantasy existing within the track, and it's nice to have that be present there as a way of splitting up a track where like a lot of the keys are somewhat similar with the approach. We have like an A and B side that's split with the accordion solo, and we have this wonderful sort of like almost mesmerizing flow with the key patterns there, with that dun 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 moving into that next part with like the triplets on the kit there, very subtle with the tambourines accenting certain parts of those triplets, the bass line working well with the keys in the low end. It's a really well composed track that doesn't overcomplicate things compositionally. It's in a minor key, but it doesn't sound it sounds like a tragedy. That's basically what it is. My interpretation of this, I suppose, is that it's a tragedy in the sense that the person is suffering from the belief that they could have had someone there perfect earlier on. Sup, aroused pineapple? How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. What do I want to talk about just before we finish? Sorry, we can't. I have closed the queue. The queue is closed, unfortunately. Please do not request a song. We'll have to do it next time. Because I know sometimes people will go around, the commission's been closed, and they'll go through the main sort of $3 thing. Please do not request a song now as the queue has been closed. Thank you very much. We can do it next time. Yeah. The theme is the tragedy. The minor key serves that well. Well balanced otherwise. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering is well handled. No complaints at all about the way things are leveled. Vocals are present in the mix. The instruments surrounded you in the headphones. And yeah. We do have a schedule, but it's been messy recently because I've had a lot of business stuff to do. I've had a lot of business stuff on, and I've had to sort of like prioritize that. It's just what it is. There's good news out of that. Yeah. Suffer, but also trying to be hopeful. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. But like, I'll work on it. For now, though, I'm glad I got the requests that I got to do today. I think that this is a really cool song. Thank you to Judith for putting it through. I appreciate it. I liked the call and response, I suppose. It's just a final note. I like the call and response between some of the accordion parts with the keys on the right hand. I think those two melodies intersecting whilst Eason sung was really pretty in that final outro chorus section. It was a great necessary bit of development to get the song across the line. And thank you again to Judith for providing lyrics so I could understand that better. I appreciate that. We have one more track today. One more song for Ling Ling. Let's go, Ling Ling. Let's do it. What do we got? Thanks for your request. What does Ling Ling have for us today? Yay! Thank you. Thank you for this. Let's do this. Got one more. What has Ling Ling got? It is... Here we go. It is Way of Puzzle Rebirth, the official music video. We also have lyrics that we'll have a quick check out at the end. Let's go. Here we are. Time for the review, Ling Ling. Oh, dude. Video is partially off screen. Is it? I can see it. It's okay. I like the English parts. It's helped understand that. The vocal footering's pretty dope as well. Breakdown section. Nice. Let's do it. Amazing. Amazing. Dude, that was sensational. That was a really great track. That was a phenomenal first impression. This band is my friend, but the lead singer has passed away unexpectedly. I'm very sad, but I do my best to share the music with the world. I hope his voice can come alive again through each play, because true death is being forgotten. Thank you. I'm really sorry for your loss. I'm sorry that they died. I'm sorry to hear that. I want you to know that they made amazing music. This was genuinely a really, really good song. And I enjoyed listening through it. Even though it's sad, I appreciate the work they put into that. And thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate that. Have a quick look through here at the lyrics. Thank you for providing a copy of the lyrics as well. Appreciate that. Sup, Shinyida. By the way, welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you're well. Those moments when I held my breath trying to climb up, not expecting the exit to be so close. So I think that this track is about someone going through the struggle that they have. You know, getting kicked while they're down, having a really difficult time, trying to come back up to the surface. You know, they had to give up their dreams previously. They had to maybe make some decisions they didn't want to in the past, but they're going to continue fighting to you know, how dare people try to stop them? They're going to get to the top. They're going to be reborn. They're going to be who they want to be, and they're never going to give up. No matter what you face, just beat it. So I think it's about never giving up. Rebirth. And I think the vocal performance here was just sensational. I think that it's incredibly passionate vocal performance. I love the main sort of clean vocals. I liked the rapping parts. The vocal thrash parts where things are a bit heavy were great too. It's just stunning. It's just really well voiced and well expressed. And the crowd, the chants of the backing band around them as well was just awesome. So yeah, the vocalist did a sensational job of communicating. It was very heartfelt and authentic and very believable. I've got nothing for love for what they were able to accomplish here. It's really, again, it's really sad to hear that they passed away, but they put their heart on their sleeve and they put it in the song. The track at 5 minutes, and we went a bit over 5 minutes to be fair for this one. Usually the time limit is 5 minutes, but we're allowed it for this one. You know, it's a song where I think it's well fleshed out with various guitar riffs, bass lines, and drum parts, and the vocals on top change enough to where they are a really eloquent main lead. We had lots of different drum grooves with double kicks, hi-hats, and cymbal snare patterns on the kit there, typically adjusting to what we needed to do with like the verse of the choruses, slowing down a little bit for parts where there's like a breakdown or like a little pause there, you know, picking things back up, matching the intensity of the bass and guitar parts within the track. And we had like these wonderful lead guitar elements and parts as well there. I love the guitar lead. Those melodies there are so they soar above the mix there. Typically the rhythm parts on the guitars were the power chords, which did sync really neatly with what the drums were doing, but also the lead elements there, how they just glowed, and now it's so respectful to the key signature and scales that were present throughout the track. They were just a fantastic foil for what was going on with the vocalist. And we also had some quieter guitar parts as well, with some reverb and delay tails on the cleans there. They were arpeggiated, and the drums, as mentioned, came down for those as well, which was really stunning. Great sense of dynamic range to that. Very pretty. And like just the tone of the guitars in general, whether they were the kind of quieter clean parts, the distorted parts, or the the lead guitars, they matched really well with what the bass guitar is doing in that low end, typically reinforcing those root notes, those bass notes of those chords. And just, it was a really tight performance overall. There were lots of different sections. We were very comfortable with the chorus, but we didn't rely on that too much. We didn't oversaturate with those hook lines. It was a story where it was more fleshed as we went along. We had that journey to the eventual rebirth illustrated throughout this. And I think at the start, you had those glorious lead lines on the guitar, and it kind of let you know that even if things were rough at the beginning, we were eventually going to fly out of that situation and get to a brighter future, a new day. And I think that even though it's in a minor key, it's like anthemic and it's energetic and it wants to tell you more about itself, and it encourages you not to feel sad about the situation, but it encourages you to not give up, and it encourages you to continue fighting. And I love that. I like the force of that. The vocal fry, and there's heavier parts with breakdowns and stuff like that. There's force behind it, which makes sense for the genre. But it is, what I love about it is that there's so much diversity with the different range expressed, whilst also remaining sort of like texturally and compositionally consistent. It feels like an entire experience that's just really well fleshed out. And just to top it all off, the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is really good. Really good. Yeah, no, typically the things, the leveling, the EQing, the way things were placed in the mix, the dynamic range, etc., things there were well placed, and I've got no complaints whatsoever about the way things are handled. It was a raw, rough and tumble performance that presented itself really well, and I'm thankful to have been able to hear it. So Ling Ling, thank you very much for sharing this track from Way of Puzzle, Titled Rebirth. I genuinely appreciated being able to hear it. And that effectively is that's our session today. We have finished our live stream for today. It's been a longer one, to be fair. I don't know why my internet's been kind of weird. But thank you to the following people who sent through requests. We've got David, as well as Art Noxon. Wow, this is just really inconvenient where things are. Can we go? Huh? Here we go. We had David, as well as Art Noxon, Dinnerhay, Alvin, Paul, Cromino, Judith, and also Ling Ling. Thank you for all of your requests. I really appreciated being able to listen through those. Hopefully you have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you take care of yourself, spend time with your family and your loved ones, just have some fun. For those of you waiting on Patreon requests, I'll get those done before the end of the month. Remember, if you have not sent yours through, please do so that I can get it done for you by the end of the month. I'll be back next week to do more of these, so if you want to hang out, feel free to. Please do go check out the Discord if you want to hang out and chat there. There's also the YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed, and then there's also the Patreon if you want specific custom monthly videos for you to check out. You're welcome, Art Knox, and thank you for coming along and for your requests. And stay cool, stay safe. Please remember to stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next XP live streams, I suppose. Spiderhands out.